It would have been better if I had died, the 5-year-old said to her grandmother. Mom, am I coming to see you and Elizabeth today? I missed you very much. How you doing? How's Lizzie? The daughter's call was, as always, unexpected. The elderly woman all cringed. Rita never called or came just for fun. She needed something, again, and that really annoyed the elderly mother. Hello, Rita. Come inside. Have you come to pick up Elizabeth? The girl misses you so much. The child should live with her mother, not her old grandmother. You promised, didn't you? Frida decided from the threshold to find out the reason for her daughter's visit. Mom, where should I take her? You know we live in a one-room apartment, even though it's close to the center. There's not much room even for Carl and me. How am I supposed to take her? Rita looked at her mother irritably, but then smiled sweetly and added affectionately, If only you could swap with us. You alone would have enough room in our apartment. There's a hospital and stores and a park there, and we could move into this house. The 3 of us could live here with Elizabeth. You're always complaining that it's hard for you to go to town on business, and you're tired of Lizzie. It would be perfect for everyone. Frida looked sadly at her daughter and shook her head. Something told her that she was offering a completely unprofitable option. Frida, are you pregnant again? Frida remarked. The woman did not lose sight of her daughter's pale complexion and the fact that she occasionally, as if casually, put her hand to her belly. Frida was beginning to worry that any scenario would not be good for her, to give up her home and cram herself into a strange apartment, to give up everything she loved here, or to refuse to move, to wait until Rita gave birth to her second child and dropped him off again to be raised by her grandmother. The old woman glanced to the corner where the chair where the obedient 5-year-old Elizabeth sat was. Soon the girl would no longer recognize her mother if she didn't pick her up or come even less often. Her mother, Rita, Frida's daughter, married right after university out of great love and an equally great pregnancy. But the great love lasted exactly until Lizzie was born. The young father was not prepared for the sleepless nights and constant tantrums of his wife and quickly packed his bags. Angered, Rita filed for child support, forbidding her ex-husband to see her daughter. The guy was so young that he didn't want much involvement in his daughter's life and gladly agreed not to see the girl anymore. He immediately left for another city to build a career and establish his free, young life. Giving her young daughter a break from the stresses of her divorce, Frida enjoyed taking care of her baby girl. She hoped that when Rita found the right man, the girl would once again grow up in a full family. It didn't take long for the right man to come along. He was 10 years older than Rita, had a good job, and his own apartment, albeit a one-room apartment, but it was better than nothing. The newly minted son-in-law dreamed of a large family and children. However, for some reason he felt only irritation towards Elizabeth. Rita persuaded her mother to let Elizabeth stay at the house with Frida until Carl married her. Then she would take her daughter home at once. After the wedding, the newlyweds first wanted a little romance, just for the 2 of them. Then Rita was looking for a new job, and she had no time to take care of her daughter. Rita kept postponing the moment of reunion with her daughter, even though the baby was really looking forward to it. And now Rita is expecting a baby again. She had promised her daughter when she came to visit her last time that when she and Carl had a baby, they would be sure to take Elizabeth too. And now, when the girl heard that her mother was going to have a baby, she packed all her things and toys into a small suitcase and came running to her mother. Elizabeth was looking forward to having a little brother or sister. She thought that if she helped her mother with him, then she would never be given away again. Each time Frida asked her daughter when she would take the girl, but each time Rita found reasons not to take her. Now it turned out that Rita was pregnant. "Well, what a joy! Congratulations to you and Carl," Frida said to her daughter. "You have a helper now, too. You'll all have a good time together." Elizabeth so wanted to live with her mom and dad like the other kindergarten kids she went to. "Mom, I'm not taking Lizzie," Rita exclaimed when Frida began to ask again when she was going to pick up her daughter. "Carl loves children, of course, but he wants his own. He doesn't want anyone else's." "She's no stranger to you, is she?" Frida was shocked at her daughter's words. "She's your own daughter, and you're his wife, so she must be his daughter, too. We discussed this. You promised it to me and Elizabeth. How am I supposed to look the girl in the eye now?" "Mom, that's enough. If it's hard for you to take care of her and you don't want to trade places with her, let's turn her in to child welfare." At her daughter's words, Frida clutched at her heart. "Go away. I don't want to see you again," the elderly woman whispered. "I'm ashamed to have such a daughter. We can handle Lizzie without you." Elizabeth, all the while standing outside the living room door with a small suitcase. When she realized that her mother was about to leave her again, she cried loudly and ran to her room. Frida followed the girl. On the way, she heard the front door slam. Rita was gone. "Lizzie, don't cry, honey." Frida walked over to the bed where her granddaughter was sitting. "You and I are going to live together. Is it bad for the two of us? You and I are a team. We help each other. Don't cry, my soul. Everything will be all right. You'll see." Elizabeth came to terms with the fact that her parents didn't need her. In time, everything was forgotten, and after a while, her mother began to visit them with her young son. She had little contact with her daughter, but she always brought gifts. Unexpectedly, Frida found out that she was very sick. The doctor urged her to go to the hospital for treatment. But how would she leave 5-year-old Lizzie behind? Frida called her daughter to make arrangements for Elizabeth's future. "All right, let's swap places. I'm willing to move into your apartment if you live with Elizabeth in my house," the woman decided. "Only I have a condition. We won't formalize anything. Officially, the house will remain mine. We'll just swap without signing any papers." "Mom, what are you saying?" Rita was genuinely amazed. "We thought you were just going to sign your house over to us, and the apartment would remain ours. We'll just let you live there. Sooner or later, I will inherit the house anyway. So let's draw up everything at once, so I don't have to go to a notary later and drop everything. And you live in our apartment as long as you want." "Oh, thank you, benefactors. How well you decided everything for me. You must be waiting to take over my house by now, huh?" Frida was angry. "Only who told you that you would inherit the house?" Rita was shocked. "I'm your only daughter. Who else should it go to? You know how much we need the extra space. What do you need this house for? You don't even have the energy to put all the rooms in order anymore. How much time do you have left? You could help your daughter. It's your greed that's keeping you from giving up the house. Get out and don't come around here again. I don't want to see you anymore. You're not my daughter anymore. You're a selfish who thinks only of herself. You don't care about your own mother and daughter. Get out of my house while I'm the lady of the house." Frida was desperate. She never expected such a turn of events. Astonished and annoyed, Rita left, and Frida sank heavily on the couch. A frightened Elizabeth approached her. "It would have been better, Grandma, if I had died," said the girl, "and it would be easier for you, and Mother would stop being angry." "What are you saying, honey?" The older woman hugged the baby girl. "You and I will show everyone what it means to be happy. I'll just get a little better." All night long, Frida did not sleep. In the morning, the only true solution came. The woman found a phone number in her desk, written down on a piece of paper. She did not know why she had kept the number before, but now she understood. She picked up the phone and dialed the number. There was a ringing tone. Jeremy stared pensively at the floor, sitting on the couch in the living room. He was waiting for his wife, Elsa, to return from work. He wanted to talk to her in person, not over the phone. And now he was very worried. Darling, is something wrong? The woman asked excitedly when she entered the house and saw her husband in this state. Yes, my love, I have something to tell you. Sorry I hid it before. I was afraid you would judge me or leave me. Jeremy was pale and struggled to find the words. Did you do something? Elsa asked. Yes, years ago I abandoned my child, and never once in all those years have I inquired about her. About a year ago, I called my ex-mother-in-law. It's the only phone number I still have from my past life. She didn't want to talk to me. You have a child, and you didn't tell me anything? How could you? Elsa was shocked by the news. Yes, I was married before. We got married because my girlfriend was pregnant. We were very young and not ready for that. Our married life was very short, and we had a daughter. After the divorce, my ex forbade me to see her, and I didn't need to at the time. Then I met you, and I forgot all about it. A year ago, I started to feel badly that I didn't know anything about my daughter, and I wanted to try to contact her, but I couldn't. And then today, Frida, my ex-mother-in-law, called and told me that Elizabeth was being threatened by child welfare. Elizabeth is my daughter. Her mother, Rita, didn't take care of her at all, and the girl was raised by her grandmother, Frida. Now, Frida is seriously ill and needs long-term treatment. She asked if I could take Elizabeth with me while she is being treated. Of course you can, Elsa exclaimed. Quickly pack up and let's go. But I'm not done with you yet. We'll talk about everything afterwards. Elizabeth furtively looked at the man sitting at the table and the beautiful woman beside him. They arrived in the morning while the girl was still asleep. Waking up to voices in the kitchen, the girl looked out of her room. She was spotted and invited to tea with delicious cakes. Lizzie was very surprised that her grandmother didn't mind. She usually didn't let her start the day with sweets. The man turned out to be Lizzie's daddy, whom she had never seen and didn't even know she had one. And the beautiful woman was his wife. They brought lots of presents and sweets and said they were going to take her with them. You're not afraid, Frida reassured the girl. I'll get well and I'll take you right away. With tears in her eyes, Elizabeth went away to people she didn't know. Elsa turned out to be very kind and caring. Her father, on the other hand, seemed shy of his daughter all the time. Gradually, they got used to each other and became friends. Elsa bought the girl nice clothes, took her to and picked her up from kindergarten, went to her matinee. On weekends, they always went out to rest somewhere, a movie, a cafe, or an entertainment center. Several times a week, Elsa took Elizabeth to visit her grandmother in the hospital. Frida noticed how the girl was changing. She became cheerful, sociable, and the constant fright in her eyes disappeared. She even put on a little weight, and her cheeks became rounder and more pink. The woman also noticed how Elizabeth looked at Elsa with enthusiasm. But what pleased Frida even more was that Elsa also looked at the child with adoration. The elderly woman could not have imagined that her little granddaughter could find unexpected happiness in her father's family. 6 months flew by, and tragic news hit the little family like icy rain. Frida was gone. She could not beat the disease and quietly left this world. For the first time ever, Elizabeth was frightened and withdrawn. She understood that in front of her awaited the guardianship service, or she would have to live with her mother, who did not love her. The girl knew from an early age that nobody wanted her except her grandmother. Elizabeth sat in an old chair at her grandmother's house. She was waiting for the adults who were in the next room at her grandmother's wake to come for her. Before she knew it, she had fallen asleep. Elizabeth? Lizzie? Someone touched her shoulder, but the girl was so exhausted from worry that she couldn't even open her eyes. Jeremy, don't wake her, said a familiar, affectionate voice. Let her sleep. She's tired. Poor little girl. She loved her grandmother so much. Someone picked her up in his arms and carried her somewhere. The girl didn't care where they were taking her. Elizabeth awoke to bright sunshine. She was lying in her crib, and next to her was the armchair in which Elsa was dozing. Elizabeth stood up abruptly and looked around. She was not imagining things. She was still in her father and his wife's apartment. Oh, you're awake. Elsa opened her eyes and moved over to Lizzie on the bed. How are you feeling? Aren't you in any pain? The girl shook her head warily. She was trying to think of what to do. What if she said her stomach hurt? Could she still be here for a little while? Then let's go get some breakfast, honey. Elsa helped Lizzie change and left for the kitchen. After breakfast, Elizabeth went to the room where she lived with her father, gathered her things, and went out herself into the living room, where Jeremy and Elsa were sitting. I'm ready, the girl said with bitterness in her voice. Where to? The adults asked in one voice. Well, where to? You're going to put me in an orphanage now, aren't you? Why would you want me? Elizabeth spoke quietly, watching the frozen expression on the two adults' faces. She saw Elsa turn pale and her father blush. What are you talking about? Whispered Jeremy, and ran to get a sedative for his wife, seeing that she was on the verge of fainting. We're not going to give you up anywhere. You're going to live with us forever now. We had all the necessary papers drawn up a month ago. Now we'll wait for your mother's permission, and Elsa will be able to adopt you. Elizabeth could not believe her ears. How? They want to keep her? Elsa would be her mother? Suddenly the tension of the last few days came to a head, and the little girl began to cry. Elsa jumped up and took her in her arms, so they cried together until Jeremy held them in both his arms. Stop shedding tears. Let's go for a walk. Rita, her face distorted with anger, flew out of the notary's office like a bullet. Her mother had bequeathed everything to Elizabeth. No one had the right to dispose of the girl's property until she came of age, neither her parents nor her guardians. What a mean old woman! When did she have time to do all the paperwork? Elsa and Lizzie, holding hands, went outside. They were followed by Jeremy. They saw Rita gesticulating frantically, explaining something to the man beside the stroller. Then, as if sensing their gaze, she turned around, ran up to them, and shouted, I'll gladly give up this girl. Elsa smiled. It's fine. Jeremy will take care of the paperwork right away, she said. Elizabeth ran out onto the school porch and looked around. When she saw a woman with a stroller, she waved and headed toward her. Mom, I have so much good news today. The little girl grinned and took her mother's hand. I didn't even doubt it, honey. Tell me all your news soon. I can't wait to hear it. Elsa smiled. I got really good grades in math today, and my friend Natalie invited me to her birthday party, and they have a pool at their house. Also, we're going on a field trip soon to the chocolate factory. Lizzie was in such a hurry to share her happiness with Elsa. She was sure her mother would be very happy to hear it, too. How wonderful, Lizzie! What do you think about ordering a pizza tonight for Daddy's return from work? To celebrate such wonderful news, what do you say, dear? Elsa was genuinely delighted. She loved those moments so much when they walked with Lizzie and the baby on the way home from school. Rita was sitting on the playground in the park, staring at one point. She already had two sons who were now on their own at the playground. Putting her hand on her huge belly, she wondered how to get back at Ben for leaving her with three children. At least her second husband left her an apartment. Sure, one room for four wasn't enough, but it was something. Her third husband left her nothing but another child. The ringing and happy voices distracted her from her thoughts. A woman and a girl of about 9 were walking down the path of the park, and next to them was a man with a baby in his arms who turned out to be her first husband, Jeremy. "Well, daughter, more ice cream?" the woman asked cheerfully. "Sure, Mommy," the girl replied and hugged her. They raced to the nearest ice cream stand. Rita tried to appear inconspicuous, turning away from this happy family.